welcome back to another stream on the channel. Game week 3, another massive week. Good to see some of you already in chat. Of course, Nick, my channel member, Luke says hello. Hamza says, how's your morning? How's your weekend going, brother? All good. I tried for Oasis tickets just like the rest of the world, and unfortunately we are left empty-handed. But I'm sure I'm not the only one, and let me know in chat if you were going for tickets also. Let me know how the audio is. It should be fine. I just have the mic a small bit away from my mouth, so you might hear me a bit better. Benjamin Otero, good to see you in chat. Christian says, are you going to wildcard? No, I don't plan on it at all, but I can give you maybe some of my broader strategy going forward, and we're going to do a wildcard draft for sure. Already, Yas, I'm going to say, Yas Hoffman with the super chat. 250, I'm not sure what currency that is, let me know. But he says, Owen Watkins and Mbeumo are Son and Wissa for this week. I would say for this week, Watkins and Mbeumo for sure. I don't know, I think Mbeumo could do very, very good against Southampton. I wouldn't be surprised. And Emery gave us a little update on Watkins. I think it was yesterday night, I want to say. But he said Watkins had a bit of a niggling injury before the season started. So maybe that explains why Watkins is so rusty. So let's see if he gets up to speed. Cheers for the super chat though. I really appreciate it. Let's see. So in front of you, I have my team. I think I'm happy with it in general. This week we done 2 free transfers. I had in Nkunku, I done it before the price drop. We went down to a Rodgers before his price rise. And then just now, before the stream started, I done Solanke up to a Watkins. You know, I like to move, but I think long term I don't. You know, the fixtures are there for Watkins. But it kind of stops me from getting another premium midfielder from a Bruno. And it kind of means I have to hold on to him. When I look at that, like, I could have done a Bruno up to a Foden or De Bruyne when he's inevitably fit. But I think for the time being, I can just wildcard in 6 and can change the structure of the team. So I'm not too worried about it, and it's always nice to have the 2 free transfers for flexibility. You know, that's why we have them for when the likes of a Solanke gets injured or the minutes of Nkunku are lowered. So I think I'm quite happy with the team. FPL Down Under, good morning. What do you think of Saka to Palmer on a free? This week, no. I genuinely really like that Brighton fixture for Arsenal. I think they're the early kick-off today. Starting the week off badly, and then I get to see Tottenham tomorrow. But look, I think Arsenal will do quite well against Brighton. Stefan says, Gordon to Rodgers. I have Isaac and no Aston Villa. That's a nice fixture for Gordon, man. I think I'd hold off another week. You know, you're already after missing the price rise with Rodgers anyway. And there's no rush to get him, you know. I think a lot of people that were going Rodgers were from Nkunku, so I wouldn't worry about it at all. Sally says, morning Choi from Egypt. Yeah, let me know where you're from. I myself am Irish. Great to see people from all across the globe tuning in. It's mad, you know. FPL is massive. And I think this year in particular, you know, there's so many big footballers and celebrities that are playing the game, so it's cool to see. Even Salah's playing from Egypt as well. Christian says, hello. Hunter type. Jai Jouet. I'm going to try to pronounce that right. I hope that was okay. Good to see you. Hansa says, I ended up... let me get back to that. Sorry. I completely missed that. I ended up benching João Pedro last week and started Muniz. Yeah, no, that was a tough one though. But it was probably the right decision in hindsight. Even though he didn't get the points, I think I would have definitely played Muniz as well. It was a great fixture. So I wouldn't beat yourself up too much. Nick says, hello. So, morning, Choi. Harrison in chat, good to see you. Are you going to update the deadline timer? Yeah, let me do that right now. Basically, right, for anyone that is your first time here, every time I do the deadline timer, it resets when I change between scenes. I don't know why it does that. And I'll definitely have to get that sorted. But let me fix that before anyone thinks the deadline is in 40 minutes. So that's 89 minutes away, I want to say. Alright. Sweet. It's mad. I can't keep up with all the streamers that do it 2 hours before the deadline. It's actually insane how they do it. And people that do it 2.5 hours before the deadline are insane. Ahmed says, Eze or Smith Rowe to start? I would be inclined to go Smith Rowe. I know Eze doesn't have the best of records versus Chelsea, but I think in general, Smith Rowe is starting to get the minutes, the better fixture, so I think I'd lean towards him. Would you sacrifice Isaac for Welbeck? No chance. Not against Tottenham. I'd just be playing Isaac all day. Should I captain Palmer over Salah? I think if I had Palmer, I would go there. But I don't think Salah is a bad option at all. What are we saying on Sun Captain? Yeah, it's one that I've talked about a small bit, Anton, in my videos. I don't know if you've seen them, but I think that Newcastle fixture is a bit better than it is on paper. Spurs looking a bit better this season so far anyway. We usually start strong. But, I think Newcastle in general haven't looked great. So yeah. Jai Jouet says, you need to change your Twitter banner, mate. It's horrible. Yeah, that's the point. It's big Daniel Levy. Let me pull that up. Where is it? There. Yeah, so I don't know, it's always been my Twitter banner, and I don't think I'm ever gonna change it. My brother, when he started Twitter 7 years ago, he had something similar, so I'm following in his footsteps. Choose 2 to start, says Yusuf. He says, in Game Week 3, João Pedro, Greaves, Mikolenko and Lewis Hall. I think I would go João Pedro and Lewis Hall. Lewis Hall not the greatest, but I think I start him anyway. Hunter Type says, good morning. I get the impression you're not keen on stats. Maybe more of an eye test manager. I'm the same. Are you narrow divergent by any chance? So I am definitely an eye test manager. Like I said on that stream yesterday with Fran, I come from a background of computer science, and I understand stats and analytics place in football for sure, and I definitely appreciate it, and it definitely has it's definitely meaningful. But FPL is kind of a hobby for me. So is football. I love watching it, and I like making my own judgments on things. I won't say I don't look at stats. Of course I do. They're kind of hard to miss at this point in football. They're everywhere. But I think in general, it doesn't matter if the next fella has one more XG than someone I want to bring in. I'm always going to bring in who I want. What you mean by narrow divergent? I don't know what that means. But if you could explain, then I'll get back to you. Have Smith, Rowe and Rodgers, Muniz, whom to start? I would start Rodgers, I think, only because how good he was against Arsenal. I actually couldn't believe it watching. He was unfortunate not to return. Havertz or Isaac? I think I'd go Isaac. If I had Isaac, I'd hold on to him for sure. But going forward, probably Havertz. It saves you a move in Game Week 6 if you're not going to wildcard. FPL Toff says, morning Choi. Who else is spending the morning in the queue for Oasis tickets? Maybe we could do a vote. Trying to get tickets already. Got Oasis tickets. Don't want Oasis tickets. That's a shout. I was waiting for tickets this morning, but it was at 8 o'clock. I'm Irish, so I was waiting for the Dublin ones. And of course, absolutely nothing. I'm going to do a poll while we have, or to start the stream. It's a captaincy poll. We'll do that first before we do any Oasis tickets ones. Okay, how can I hide the chat from myself? I'm after bringing up my poll and now I can't see the questions. 1 second. But yeah, I think I'm happy with my team. There's not much else I can do. I can do a -4, but there's no one except maybe an Mbuemo or a Eze that I want. I think Eze is still a very good boy. I mean, good purchase. But yeah, no, I think it's mad the amount of people that are getting rid of him. It's so knee-jerky to get rid of a player who I think, if you watch him, he's doing very well and has very good underlying stats. So definitely wouldn't be getting rid of Eze. Alan says, how are you, mate? I see a nice Spurs crest there. Greetings from Perth Down Under. Very good. Come on, you Spurs. I assume you're a big Ange fan as well. Rhea and Consa says Majid. He says, or Flecken plus Saliba. I would go Rhea and Consa for sure. I think you have to set up a deadline timer as a global timer between scenes. Yeah, that's a good shout. Yeah, for sure. I could look into that. Stats are for rookies. This is not the NBA, says Downtown. Yeah, you're right, but, they seem to be doing very, very well, so I can't even slag them off. And I do respect it if you do use stats, you know. Everyone has their different ways of playing. This is just how I like to do it. Joe Craddock says, I'm captaining Palmer over Haaland this week. I don't think it's a bad week to do it purely because it's early in the season and I think there's more upside. Do you agree, Choi? Come on, you Spurs. Yeah, I 100% agree. If you're going to take risks, you know, at the end of the season, it's probably your best bet to do it. You've plenty of time to catch up if it doesn't go right. But even in general, for a game week like this, majority will probably still be on Haaland after the hat-trick last week. So I think for sure you can go a bit differential with your captaincy this week. And Palmer in general is not a bad captain at all. So definitely a good shout, Joe. Would you take a -4 after a price drop on Bruno? Bruno to Madison? No, I wouldn't. I would hold fate in Bruno personally. And there's no hit from anyone Bruno downwards except maybe in a Mbeumo if you're captaining them, but I don't think I'd even do that. What do you think about Verbruggen and Raya rotation? Yeah, I don't mind it, but I'd prefer to kind of just play Raya every single week because you never know when Arsenal are going to come up with a clean sheet. They're kind of almost fixture proof, I want to say, so yeah. I'm starting João Pedro because I have Nkunku on the bench. Any chance he could score against Arsenal? Yeah, so that's one of the things I was looking at when I was looking at my team. You know, I could have alternatively just played João Pedro and roll the transfer, and I did really like the idea of that. And one thing that kind of was in my mind is that I don't have Arsenal defense, so I could have really increased the variance of hoping for a clean sheet wipeout and praying it as Pedro. But again, that Watkins fixture was just too good, and I had the money in the bank and the free transfer, so it only made sense to go up to a Watkins. Soam says, Troy, predictions for Tottenham versus Newcastle. Come on, you Spurs. I want to say 2-1 Tottenham. I don't know if that's wishful thinking, but I think we've played well in the opening 2 fixtures. Newcastle not looking so bright, and they played midweek also. So I'm going to say 2-1. Don't quote me. Again, it's a fan perspective, but I just hope we win. I don't care what the score is. And Aziz says, Aziz, hey, Constant Martinez and Smith Rowe out. Nedeljkovic, Flecken, Eze in. Thoughts? It's a wildcard, so thanks. I like those moves. Yeah, no, I would go for the right side. Nedeljkovic, Flecken, Eze. You know, Eze is on penalties compared to Smith Rowe. I feel like he's definitely a better option. Nick says, what's your opinion on Jota after the Chiesa transfer? You know, I think there is a chance Chiesa plays up top. But again, I still think the pecking order is probably Jota, Darwin, Chiesa, and Chiesa probably being on the left wing. So that's just my opinion though. If there's any Liverpool fans that are a bit more educated on what you think is going to happen, let me know. FPL Freddy says, good morning, good to see you. Hamza says, bro, is it your 4th year or 4th semester? It's my 4th year. I'm starting in 2 weeks. Choi, thank you for that answer. ADHD maybe. Yeah, potentially. Why no Chelsea player? Nothing to do with Chelsea, except the only player I'd want from Chelsea is probably Palmer. The rotation is just doesn't tickle my fancy, you know. I wouldn't be surprised seeing any player except Palmer be benched. FPL discomfort in chat, good to see you. 1 Spurs out, 2 to go. Progress, buddy. Funny you. Dara P says, if you had Palmer and Haaland, who would you captain? I'm a Liverpool fan, so maybe my bias is leading me to Salah. If I had both Haaland and Salah, I'd definitely go Haaland. Haaland on paper is just a better option. What to do with Solanke? I'm 0.1 from being able to do Solanke to Watkins. Should I take anyone else or take a -4? I think if you have an attacker on the bench that you can play, who will get minutes, I would play them. But otherwise, I don't know if it's worth a -4 to get rid of Solanke. You could just go down to... If it's for a -4 anyway, I don't think I'd make a move. Start Porro or Oina? I would start Porro just for the upside. That's just me though. Son or Saka? Saka 100%. Adam O'Brien says, Troy, you're the pride of the parish. St. Paul's, yeah. Smashing the content lately. Start Sells or Sanchez? I would go Sanchez. How do I sub Choi? I don't know what you mean by that. There's a big subscribe button below. Be sure to hit it, by the way. Let's have a look on how that poll is doing. Nearly 200 people in here. Great to be your streamer of choice. You know, it means a lot. I know there's a lot of great content creators out there. So again, much love. Where is that poll? 53% Haaland, 24% Salah, 19 Palmer, 4% Saka. I thought Saka would be a bit higher. But assuming you have Saka, you know, you also have Haaland. So I completely understand. Taylor says, what's good, Choi? Good to see it. Ayuth, good morning. Yeah, no, I think Nedeljkovic is one of the better transfers this week, especially with the Diego Carlos injury. But yeah, not surprised by that poll at all. Makes sense. I'm gonna close it now. We'll close at 150. Start Lewis or Nedeljkovic? Nedeljkovic, 100%. By the way, we will be keeping you posted with as many updates as we can get. Let's have a look. See if we can get anything. I don't know what we're going to get because Arsenal is that early fixture, I'm fairly sure. 12:30 Arsenal. Yeah, we might get early team news for them, but you know, you probably expect your Saka, Gabriel, Raya to start, so it won't be that important. I don't know how I feel. You know, these fixtures feel fairly obvious to kind of predict, so it's gonna be hard to say. I'm gonna say we'll run through them real quick. I'm gonna say Arsenal win, Brentford win, Everton draw, Fulham win, Villa win, Forest draw, City win, Chelsea draw, Spurs win, Liverpool win. I feel like that's too obvious though. I don't know. I think we might see a few surprises this week though. Spiros' AI team, always good to look at. I say it every single week. It's mad how it always comes up on the timeline. 1.57 million in the world. You know, it's actually quite cool. He's a very similar team to me. And fortunately, I'm not an AI, so that's always a good sign. But he has 3 free transfers and maybe, you know, double Arsenal defence is doing him well. But again, I have a Rodgers instead of Bailey. He still has Nkunku, so I think it's interesting that he didn't use a transfer there. Who would you start for game week 3? Actually, I would have started Lewis. I clicked the wrong button. He's probably definitely going to start. If anyone wants to see a wildcard, by the way, just let me know and we'll start cracking into it. Max Black says, hey Chai, would you captain Son over Saka this week? I don't think I'd do it over Saka. I think Saka's probably your better option, but I don't think Son is bad at all. It's definitely more risky though. Hey Chai, what are your thoughts on Trossard as a 1 week punt into game week 4 wildcard? I don't think so. Only reason because the system kind of changed this year with the free transfers. You know, you can't dead end anymore and you're better off holding that transfer. You're missing the name on that poll. I don't know who I'm missing. Maybe Sonny or someone. Tiny Fungus says top 1.4 million. Yeah, good stuff. I think anywhere inside the top 2 million, you're doing very well. Anyone outside of that, you know, there's plenty of time to make up that space. Hey mate, Wood as a Smith Rowe, Jota, Consa and Robinson. I don't know what pick 4 of them. I would pick Wood, Eze, Jota, Robinson. Start Paro Isaac says Buenyer. I would start Isaac, definitely, 100%. I can't see us keeping a clean sheet against Newcastle, unfortunately. As much as I say I want to. How do I pay to be a member and join the group chat? Ethan, good to see you. If you want to become a member, I have a group chat on WhatsApp for anyone that's interested. You go to the comments here, you click on this little money button and you go membership. Again, you don't have to do it. I don't put anything special in there, but it's kind of an open conversation for anyone that wants to support the channel or just have a conversation with some people in the community. So, appreciate you, Ethan. If you want to become a member, fire away. Saka or Palmer? Palmer for sure. Okay, can you do a little wildcard? Yeah, for sure. Anish, my channel member, good to see you in chat. let's do a little wildcard draft. I'm going to give you my thought process as well. What I'll do is I'll keep maybe the kind of the ones I know for sure I'd want. Okay. Probably keep Rodgers, get rid of Jota for 100%. Get rid of Bruno, get rid of Son. I get rid of Watkins. I think I'd keep the players out of here so far. Who would I put in? I would 100% have Brian Mbeumo. He's a no-brainer for me. I think I love him in general as an asset. Wood or Watkins? Watkins easily. But if you have Wood, I mean, I just play Wood. I would also have Eze. Or would I have Eze? Okay, let me put in Saka first. When you wildcard, you have to have Saka because that implies that you're not doing it in game week 6. I would have Emi Martinez. And I suppose you probably need an Arsenal defender as well. So Paro most likely has to go. Who would I put in? I'll put in Gabriel, I want to say. Better goal threat. And who else would I have? I would either have Eze or Palmer. I want to say Palmer, but I don't know how many funds I will have here. 10.2 to make up 2 players. We can for sure do that. There's probably a better 4.0 than Barco, but oh yeah, that's who I put. Nedeljkovic, 100% Nedeljkovic, and I might even start him this week if I was wildcarding. Nejd. Man, I can't spell. Oh, maybe I can't spell. There you go. Nedeljkovic. Watkins up top. Who would I put here? Man, striker is kind of, awkward to pick. I want to say. I don't love the options. In general, I know Wissa was potentially an option. I definitely hold on to João Pedro. I feel like, in general, he's probably outperformed what I expected this season. I expected probably earlier subs and him to be playing the 9. It's great to see even with the new signing. So definitely outweighed my expectations. Who would I put up top? I think I'd actually just go with like someone that sucks, like a 4.5. Only because that midfield you're stacking up as good as possible. So let me just stick in sorry, a filler. And you can go for another 5.5 defender. Man, that's a very good team, I have to say. If you put in someone like a 4.5 here, let's just say, actually 4 mil. Let's go to a 4 mil. Harwood. That means you can upgrade a Rodgers to an Eze. Oh no, you can't go Eze just yet. 6.7. Let me get back to chat before I carry on with this. Out of the trenches has become a cup of chai. Welcome to the members area. Do you remember me, chai lad? I'm Mazan. Oh, Mazan. Oh yeah, of course. But I changed my name from last year. Mazan, be sure to send me on your phone number. DM me on X or wherever, or in the channel members if you prefer there, and I'll add you to that group chat. Welcome though, appreciate it. Shamil says captain Haaland or Saka. Chai, I'd be going Haaland if I had him. Pros and cons of Watkins captain over Salah. I would say you have you've had Salah and you know what he's about. Even with the new Liverpool system, he's after returning twice. He's been amazing, to be fair. Watkins, he's not after putting on any performances, to be honest. Leicester away against a newly promoted side, it can still be an awkward fixture for Villa. So that's how I wouldn't even try Sally Watkins, to be honest. He's definitely not a bad shout though. Paro or Guardiola? Whom to start? Guardiola for sure. Kulusevski to Rodgers or Isak to Watkins? I think I expect Kulusevski to start this week. I thought he was amazing last week. Isak to Watkins? I think I would roll, man. Who takes penalties for first? Morgan Gibbs-White. Anyway, let me get back to this wildcard team. Sorry, I didn't mean to close that. 6.7 million for a midfielder. Who are 6.5s? Minta is definitely a shout, but then you want... Maybe you need to upgrade that. Alright, let me put in Rodgers again. I'll probably upgrade this player here. Who do I have? 6.2. Who can I put in? Yeah, these are not appetizing picks at all. Price, right, there you go. 6.2. Muniz, Chris Wood, Wissa. I am gonna say Nketiah. No, Nketiah is probably a bit too risky. Nketiah is way too risky. Jamie Vardy's having a party. No, probably not. Double Brentford. Can I do that to anyone that's on Wildcard? I don't think so. Alright, we're gonna put in Wissa for the time being. I don't love it. Again, there will be people who put a bit more thought process in it than me. So how would this team look next week? I think it's very important to look at. You probably start in Buemo against City. I know it's not ideal. But he's on penalties anyway with Tony now gone. You go for a 3-5-2. Who would I start this week? Definitely Robinson, Gabriel and Trent. You have Nedeljkovic there just in case, you know, the odd injury comes up or you're feeling confident on the Villa defence. But yeah, that midfield of Salah, Saka, Palmer is lovely. And if you don't want to Mbuemo, I'd go Eze. Of course, he's dropped in price. And then you have that Brentford cover anyway. So I actually really like Wildcard this week. Only if you bank the transfers, though. I think if you don't have the transfers banked, it's not great. Get Vardy, says Lorenzo. Evan Nickinson rotation with João Pedro. I don't know, man. João Pedro didn't get selected for international for Brazil, so I don't think I'm too worried in game week 4 against Ipswich. Are you putting in Watkins? All right, let's get back to my actual team. Quickly, this is the wildcard. I can't save it, but you can just replay this in the stream if you want to look what I was doing. This is my actual team, and yes, we have brought in Watkins. That is a done deal. Here we go, there we land, whatever way you want to say it. If you're playing the wildcard, if you're in between playing the wildcard, sorry, that's how I should have worded it. I don't think I'd play it at all. Sonny says, should I take a -4 and bring in Konsa over Trippier of a chance of a clean sheet? No, I don't think I'd be taking a -4. Assuming you have 3 fit defenders that you can play. Bench 1 says, Vidench, he says, Gordon, Rogers, Emil Smith-Rowe. I would be benching Smith-Rowe. This is a tough one, though. Watkins, captain, or very risky. I'm 300k in the world. I would play safe in that situation. I don't think it matters where you are in the world, how you're going to pick your captaincy, though. You know, you always want to pick the best captain or one that you think has a good opportunity to make some variance in and fly you up the ranks. Amit says, who would you start, Rico Lewis or Nedeljkovic? I'd start Rico Lewis. I think he's definitely going to start. Guardiola to Consta to bring in Palmer. Yeah, I actually really like that, Liam. The only thing is, I'd only do it if I had 2 free transfers. Ali says, thoughts on Bone going forward? He's definitely an interesting option, I want to say. Would I be bringing him in? Look, I look at the other options and I just think, you know, Eze for 6.9 million is probably better value. But if you already have an Eze, Bone's not a bad show. And if I had him, I'd hold on to him. He's definitely a proven Prem asset now. And West Ham have better attacking assets going forward. So, definitely a good show. Solanke out? Yeah, Solanke is out. Well, he's going to be out for a game on Sunday. Munoz for Gusto? No. Amit says, what are the chances of a Rico Lewis start? If you're asking me, I want to say like 95%. I'll be very surprised if Lewis doesn't start. Saka or Salah captain? Saka, for sure. Chewy FPL, good to see you. Captain Haaland or Palmer? I feel like Haaland is the ZZZ pick, so I want to say Palmer. Haaland is probably the better option, though. Is it advisable, says Richin, to play the wildcard? I would say no. Try to do everything in your means not to do it. By the way, let's do a cheeky scroll on Twitter. See if we can get any team news or something. Let's answer this question real quick. Hi Chai, pros and cons of captaining. Oh, you're in chat. Good to see you. I don't think we're gonna get anything special. Again, I'm gonna be refreshing. George, my moderator in chat, let us know if you see anything, any news. But I think we should be okay. Like, there won't be anything special. Start Manoz or Mikalenko. I think Chelsea definitely score. Everton, they haven't looked great. I think I'll be starting Manoz, praying he gets an assist or something. Gucci in chat. Sup, Choi? Good luck today, fellas. Thank you, thank you. Any City leaks? No, I don't think so. Any reason you aren't captaining Isaac? You know, I think when you consider, like, if you are, I really like your thought process, because, you know, that means you don't weigh too much into previous performances, which I think is important, like, because he's getting chances. I find it hard to captain, first of all, a striker. He gets one less point for a goal. And a player that's not on penalties, so it's kind of a double whammy. So I prefer a captain midfielder, the likes of a Salah, who can do quite well against United. Should I start Wood or Eze? Wood is the answer, but I don't know. Again, you're benching a midfielder who's also on penalties. It's hard. Dude Dennis says Wildcard 4, roll 5, Arsenal in 6 versus -4 game week 4, roll 5, Wildcard 6. You know, all of that sounds good on paper, but a lot can change. I want to say 4 if you're looking bad for it. I want to say Wildcard 4. But it's hard to say, you know, how much is that -4 worth, and who are you going to bring in? Again, I'd need to see the broader picture. Robertson, yeah, Robertson definitely an excellent pick. Mazan says, can you check my team? 1262374. Sure. Okay. What is that number? 1262374. 1262374. 1262374. This is Mazan's team, channel member, so we'll give it a look. That's a very, very solid team. You're going big at the back. And I assume... Man, this is very similar to my team. Except, of course, you have second place. I do really like this. What do you have? You have 2 free transfers as well. Man, if I'm being honest, I think I'd roll this and try to get to 3 next week. 3 next week will look amazing. And again, next week I think you can just roll again. That's a phenomenal team, I have to say. If you're not going to roll, I would do maybe Barco to Nedeljkovic, and you can play him in 4 if you don't like the Gabriel fixture. Well, I think otherwise you just hold. Game week 5, how are you looking? Yeah, again, so Nedeljkovic, oh no, you already have Consa, there's no need for him. Yeah, man, I would just keep rolling. Happy days. I don't know how you have that sort of team. You're definitely not watching me. But very good. Start Porro or Consa? If it was me, I'd be starting Porro, chasing the upside. That's just the type of manager I am. The logical answer is Consa, though. Bench 1, Rogers, Eze, Wood, Smith Rowe. I would bench Smith Rowe. The -4 would be to get Salah in game week 4. Yeah, that's massive, to be fair. He's a very good fixture against Brentford, I want to say. No, not Brentford. We play Brentford. Forest. Yeah, I think the -4 for the likes of a Salah, especially if you're planning on captaining him, is a good shout. Would Solanke not go down? Solanke will go down. He will go down tonight, I want to say, because that flag and the deadline will pass. So I just can't see who you'd bring in, though, Mazan. Welcome Ethan Patterson to a cup of chai. Be sure to send me on your number and I'll add you to that group chat. Definitely appreciate it. Adam Sousa, good to see you, man. Another channel member. You're all in here today. Georgie, my moderator, welcoming the new members. Yeah, if anyone, you know, again, it's nothing special, but you want to become a member, support the channel, you're more than welcome, and I really appreciate Mazan says bench one of Consa, Trent, Guardiola, Gabriel, Emil Smith Rowe. I would be benching Consa. It's a tough one though. Savinho or Rogers for Nkunku? I think Savinho is a good shout, and I think he looks excellent. Don't get me wrong. I just think I'd want a bit more security. In like, don't get me wrong, he's played the 2 games now, but I think in general, you never know with Pep. You just never know. Every week is a minefield. So I think Rodgers is probably the safer pick. And Rodgers is probably just as good for the price difference in 5 million. Praffle says, thanks Shine, no worries. What 4.5 defender would you pair with Nedeljkovic? Just go for Konsa? I don't think I could double up with the Villa defence unless it was Emi Martinez. Konsa's not a bad shout, don't get me wrong. But 4.5 defender this week, probably Robinson. Dally Pool says 1,500 in the world, but wildcarding this week, so downhill from here. Amazing rank, that's ridiculous. Who would you have? Ederson, KDB and Mbuemo, or Martinez, Palmer and Wissa? 2 very, very, very good options, don't get me wrong. Double City or Palmer. I want to say Martinez, Palmer and Wissa, but when you're 100,000 in the world, don't come back to me. But yeah, that's just my initial thoughts from looking at that. Football Skills says, do you think I take a 8 points or wildcard? That's a tough one. I would say it really depends on how your team is. You know, it's hard for me to just sit here without a clue on how your team looks to say wildcard with an 8-point hit. I want to say do the 8-point hit. You know, you probably initially thought that was a better plan before you done it, so maybe follow through with it. But again, it really depends on your team. Adam Sousa, Eddie Casey says, hey Cha, I'm from Abbey side, I'm from Waterford. Hello Eddie Casey, good to see you in chat as usual. Stick with Isaac, 100%. Saka or Salah captain? Saka. Do you like Trent and Robbo double up? I do, but I just feel like, you know, those funds could probably be allocated a bit better and you could get in a 4.5 or a 4 million Nedeljkovic. Rodgers for Eze? No. I won't be doing Eze out. Robinson is 4.6 now. Yeah, I completely forgot about that. My bad. It took me 10 minutes to finally become a member. It's so difficult on mobile. Ethan, if you could let us know how you done it on mobile. I haven't a clue what the difference is. Just for anyone else that's looking to do it. But yeah, appreciate it, Ethan, and be sure to send me on your number. Hello Choi says, Pantelis, interesting name. Buy Saka or Son? Who, if I were to buy one, it would be Saka for sure. Did player prices go up? I can't afford Watkins anymore, says James O'Driscoll. I don't think so. Not that I know of. Not a Watkins or a Solanke anyway. Live Sneakers says, I can't afford Solanke to Watkins. I am cooked. Nah, I wasn't worried about it. There's a lot of great other options in the game. Do I keep Andre Onana? No. My name's not Andre. Amadou, sorry. Who's your top 3 captain picks in order? So when I done a stream with Gianni and Neil, initially I did say Saka could pop off this week. And I ranked it Saka, Haaland, Salah. That's what I said on stream. But Palmer is creeping up the ranks. I do think the Crystal Palace game will be like a 1-1 or something. I don't know why. You know when you get a feeling. I don't know. I still could see a 1-1 in that game. My boy Sam Daly is in chat. He says, any Oasis tickets going? I don't think so. If you secured a ticket in chat, let me know. I don't think I know anyone that has. So it's a rough one. Samuel says, Yo Chai, bench Eze, Emil Smith Rowe or Rodgers? I would bench Smith Rowe. Welbeck for Pedro? No chance. Keep Pedro. Alright, let's do another scroll on Twitter. Big Andy Martin, what a way to open it. Good morning. What an absolute legend, by the way, to the community. He blessed us. 225 people in here. I'm going to assume you're all already subscribed, but if you're not, feel free to subscribe. Hit the like button while you're there. Kind of gets us on the algorithm, and we'll get more and more people in here by the weeks as they go on. By the way, if anyone has any suggestions on how I can improve, feel free to let me know. 1974 EF says the Wizard of Waterford returns. Absolutely. 1947 absolute regular in here. Good to see you. I hate Spurs. No, but I hate them more. That is like, it's true, man. Where are we? Let me bring back up chat. Out of the Trenches says, going into next week with 3 free transfers, solid. Yeah, absolutely. You know, what a position to be in, and your team is set. So, you know, I think at the start of the season, I wasn't fairly sure anyone was going to get to 5 free transfers. It's going to be interesting to see who the first is going to be. Mazan, don't worry, I know. Alex Lemberidas says, Salah or Saka captain and why? And he sends $3. I'm gonna say thank you for the money. I appreciate it. Much love. You should also become a member. You should have become a member instead of sending a super chat. But Salah or Saka captain and why? It's a tough one, man. I think the safe bet is Salah, because then you go down with the rest of us. Saka is probably going to be the least captain this week. I think there's way more upside to Saka though. Saka versus Brighton, lovely home fixture. I could see a few goals in that game, so I think I would choose Saka. I think the safe bet is Salah. It really depends on what type of manager you are though. And Adil Ifran, another frequent member in here. Good to see you. £2 super chat. He says plans for the week 8.9 million for a forward. Any ideas? 8.9, you're in an awkward situation. You know, I would still say Isaac is probably a good pick. I don't think I transfer him out. Let me have a look for you though. 8.9. João Pedro. Maybe not this week though. Man, the strikers are stinky, man. I wish Mbeumo was the striker in the game. It would add a bit more depth. I don't think I bring in any Chelsea boys either. I want to say Wissa, but only if I had a João Pedro to bench him for next week. You know, Wissa looks probably nailed now with the likes of Tony going out the gap. Other than that, man, it's fairly thin. I don't think I'd be looking elsewhere. But cheers, I hope that answered your questions. What would I do with the money? Obviously, if you go Wissa for 6.1, it leaves you with 2.8 in the bank. I would allocate that to a midfielder next week, assuming you don't have another free transfer this week. And maybe go up to a Saka or a Palmer, assuming you don't have them both already. George Ndongu says, hi Choi, I have Armstrong and João Pedro and Isaac. I have one transfer and I have 2.3 in the bank. Between Armstrong and Pedro, I need to sell one. What are your thoughts? I won't be selling Pedro, no chance. Ipswich at home next week. I'd sell Armstrong. I don't think he's a great asset. But yeah, what would I do? I'd probably roll this week and just probably play João Pedro. I don't think there's anyone you can go up from an Armstrong or a João Pedro. So I would tend to roll. Ethan says, so on mobile, you need to go Google Chrome app, go to your channel and change it to view as desktop. And it will allow you to click the join button from there. Okay, cheers. Appreciate it. Good to know. How excited are you for the Chiesa debut? I don't know if he's going to play this weekend. I don't know how to feel about that Chiesa signing, man. That 10 million, 15 million fee is putting me off. And I heard that since he done his ACL, he's not looked at all the same. But I don't think you can go wrong for that kind of price. Well, yeah, definitely going to be interesting to see. Another super chat. He sends 200. I don't know what currency that is. From Shardul Mandalay. Appreciate it. Any advice for my team, please? Any advice for my team, please? Flecken, Poro, Roslev, Milenkovic, Palmer, Salah, Jota, Emil Smith Rowe, Rodgers, Haaland, Vardy. Any advice? What I always say is, I don't know how many free transfers you have. I think on paper your team looks quite good. You have the nice Palmer and Salah double up premiums. And of course Jota. Jota's a deadly player to be owning right now because he's a player that I wouldn't be bringing in because of the minutes risk. But, you know, he's probably a transfer out for me. So, you know, I'd be happy with Jota because a lot of people can't really bring him in. It's in that awkward position where you're unsure of his minutes. So I definitely like Jota. That midfield is fairly stacked. Paro, Roslev, Milenkovic. That defense needs a bit of work. I don't know how much you have in the bank. But yeah, I would be working towards maybe moving on a Roslev. And I don't mind Flecken. I'd hold on to Flecken for sure. But yeah, it's definitely a solid team because you have a fairly decent bench with Verbergen, João Pedro and Dunk as well. And of course Harwood Bellis. Suppose your funds are spread very far across the team. That's the only other thing. I prefer having maybe one dead asset, but again, it's preference. If you want to attack some fixtures with some of the weaker teams, that's fine. Saka to Palmer for captaincy would be so knee-jerk. I agree, Frigus. You know, I think people are being kind of easily swayed by the performance last week. Don't get me wrong, Palmer is amazing, and that Palace fixture isn't that bad, but again, I can just see a 1-1. I don't know why. Can you do a quick wildcard poll? Yeah, sure. Sorry, I just realised I was showing you down here and there's nothing here. Let me do a wildcard poll. Okay. I thought I closed this Haaland captaincy poll. I guess not. Let me do a new one. Let's do... Are you wildcarding? Be interesting. Let me get back to chat. Thoughts on Minta. Minta, amazing option. At the start of the season, I was quite high on him, and I was interested to see what is going to happen with him. And he's kind of lived up to the expectation. I don't think I'd double up if I had the Brighton boys. You know, I would prefer to... Like, if I already had João Pedro, I don't think I would bring in Minta. But if I didn't have João Pedro, I'd definitely be looking at Minta. This week doesn't look that appetizing, but next week, of course, against Ipswich, it could be lovely. Who do I replace Nkunku with for 4.8? Says Malcolm Lewis. Malcolm, I would just leave it for the time being. You know, I think I would just, you know, the 0.2 is already after happening down, so you're kind of after already missing the boat, and there's no one for 4.8 I'd want. And I would just try grab funds from a different position and maybe upgrade that to an Eze or a Smith Rowe, someone in that kind of bracket. Our Tarvis says, came late today. How are you doing? I'm great, thank you. I'm feeling great. Gonna go gym later. Of course, watch the Arsenal game at some point. Harris says, are you from Dublin? No, I'm from down south. I'm from Waterford. Cargo says, thoughts on Foden. You know, Foden's alright. Again, the Pep press conference wasn't exactly what you wanted to hear if you own him. I won't be bringing him in this week, but if I had him, I think I'd just hold faith and pray he gets some minutes. Chris Wood or Emil Smith Rowe? I want to say Wood for this week. In general, Smith Rowe. Who is this? Starting Adelkovic or Paro? Much love from Thailand. I would start Paro. I mean, it's way riskier, but it's a tough one. That's a flip of a coin for sure. Let's see. Are people wildcarding? 75% no. That's what I like to see. 20% yes. Yeah, it's not a bad week. Look, don't get me wrong. It's just not ideal. I am gonna post my team. I usually do this at 11 o'clock, but I'm going to do it now. And actually what we'll do while we're doing that is send in some of your teams underneath this post. And I'll have a look. Oh shit, that's the wrong. Let me go to pick team. Apologies. Better. Yeah, so underneath this post, _FPL on Twitter, be sure to fire in your team and we'll review them on stream. We'll see what your teams are saying. I'm praying, you're watching me. Hopefully I'm giving you the right advice and you have some decent teams. Again, what do I know though? I'm coming from a biased opinion when I'm looking at your team. So, GW3, nah, what would I want to say? 1.4 in the world. No, just do a world emoji. The emojis are key, lads. I always say it. Again, I don't really like posting on stream. I know it's probably boring for you watching me type. Salah. I'm fairly locked on Salah captain, by the way. Tough week on paper. Let's see how it plays out. No. Best of luck. Let's see some. Okay. Maybe put a sparkle and an arrow down. I don't know what goes through my brain when I'm picking my emojis, but here's the thought process. I don't like that. Oh, I prefer the finger. Much better. Okay. Let's see. Zoosh FC with 25 NOK. I don't know what currency that is. Let me know. Would you have Robinson or Lewis on a wildcard? Zoosh, I don't think I'd have Lewis on a wildcard. When you're wildcarding, you want to try set up for the future. I think going forward, Lewis might start this week and maybe the next, but there's no way Walker is going to be benched or sidelined for the foreseeable future. So I would tend to go Robinson. But then again, I think there are probably better options than a Robinson and Lewis. I think I prefer maybe an Nedeljkovic or a Konsa. But again, it really depends on your team structure, If you already have Robinson, you might want to keep that 0.1 value you got on him. By the way, if you're going to send a super chat, I would much more encourage a better way to allocate if you want to support the channel is a membership. Again, you don't have to. I just mean, you can join. What am I trying to say? I will add you to my WhatsApp group where you can kind of discuss more things in general rather than a one text message. It's probably better value. But again, you don't have to. I really appreciate the super chats. Much love. What are your thoughts on Watkins as a different captain? Yeah, a lot of people are asking this question. I don't love it. I mean, I want to see a bit more from Watkins, whether that's more nailed minutes. In that first game, he got subbed after 60 minutes. So it's definitely not ideal. Let's go through some of your teams while we're here live. Someone added me in something. I don't know what this is. Cheers, Noah. Appreciate it. Completely cooked in Game Week 2. Praying for... Okay, no, that's the wrong one. Here we go. Okay. I'm just bringing up the wrong stuff. Alright. Lime Mouse, of course, channel member. Let's see what your team is saying. I'm sorry it's so zoomed in, by the way. I don't know why it's like that. It doesn't look great. How can I unzoom this? Oh yeah, that's much better. Okay. Lime Mouse, solid team. I feel like you're very unfortunate with Muniz. He's taking lots of shots. I don't love Mikalenko. I think they will concede. Minoz, I think, will concede as well. But yeah, I'd be happy with that team. Of course, Gerald Kwanzaa, though, not ideal. But you have Minter for next week. I do like that. I want to say 7.5. Not bad. again, these are my biased opinions. It's hard for me to give a team more than like a 9 if it's not my team, because that's why I have my team. FPL tough. Let's have a look. Yeah, again, that's solid. Double Newcastle attack could go very well against Tottenham. I hate to say it. Jean-Philippe Mateta as well, away to Chelsea. I've not seen many of that. What are you missing? Of course, you're missing the robot up top. You have Saka in place already and a very, very strong defence. Yeah, I really like that. I want to say 8. I don't really like the double Crystal Palace attack, but of course, it will do. Noah with his team. Pau Torres and Martinez. I'm going to assume this is a wildcard. This is very similar to the team I put in. What I would say, I really like this. It's 8.5 from first look. I actually just realised this is a Salah, Haaland and Palmer. That's a very solid team. The only thing I would say is try stretch to a João Pedro from a Jebinson. I think João Pedro, with that Ipswich fixture next week, he rotates very well with a lot of players in your team. But yeah, very solid team. Are you going for a wildcard without Haaland? Yes, if you're in here. Undecided with Salah or Saka captaincy. No, that's a tough captaincy, for sure. What would I give this team? This is a solid team again. 8th. It's the start of the season. I don't think you're going to see many bad teams, you know. I think it's game week 8 and 9 where people are already used their wildcard and they're after kind of giving up a small bit, I want to say. But again, this is another brilliant team. You know, you're really attacking the fixtures here with the 3 Fulham boys. I don't love the 3 Fulham assets. But again, it's not bad. And that Jota pick for this week, I think, could be very good. So I'm going to give that an 8th for sure. No free transfers. This is the last one. Sorry for everyone that's posted their teams. I can't get back to all of them. Sonny, Mbeumo and Jota. Haaland, of course. I hate the voice move. And okay, this team is kind of on ropes with the defense. I'm gonna say 7, only because of the defense. But again, otherwise, you know, that attack is beautiful. All right, let me get back to some of your questions in chat. Let me pull up my team while we're there. Here's how my team is looking. 268 people in here. Appreciate you all. Hit that like button while you're here. I'm gonna do another poll. 80% of you not wildcarding. And it looks like we've got another super chat from Cole Winders. Or what did I say? Cole Winders. Cole Wilders. He sends 15 Hong Kong dollars. Appreciate you. He says bench Bailey, Rogers, Watkins, Eze, or Isaac. Really, really tough one, that. I don't know how you have 3 Villa attackers. I think it has to be one of the Villa boys because you want to spread your kind of coverage, if that makes sense. Unless you really expect Villa to batter Leicester, I don't think I would play triple Villa attack. I would be inclined to bench a Bailey, only because he's likely to get subbed in the 60 odd minute. But yeah, unless you really think Villa are going to batter him, I would be playing Eze. Cheers for the super chat though. Renata says, bit mad that. I don't know what you're referring to, but yeah. Start Paro or Oina? I want to say Paro. High Choi says Pops is. Muniz or Jackson? I want to say Muniz this week. Drop 1 says Tinley. Says Emil Smith-Rowe, João Pedro or Rogers. Drop 1 for this week, for sure Pedro. Paro or Lewis? Rico Lewis. Altarva says, missed out Eze due to the 0.2 drop of Nkunku. Any other replacements for Nkunku? Already have Rogers and Emil Smith-Rowe. You know, that's a tough situation to be in. I would say try get up to an Eze, whether that's next week where you can use 2 free transfers. That's what I would try to be doing anyway. The only way I take a -4 is if I had no one playing in place of Nkunku. Would you do Isaac to Watkins? No. Robert says, looking to move forward a stacked midfield with Salah, Palmer, Son, Saka structure, Havertz, Minta differentials. Yeah, Robert, I really, really like that. I think if I was on Wildcard 2, that's what I'd be aiming towards. If I look at some of like my future transfers and how I want to play the future game weeks moving forward, like I said, I'm kind of stuck with Watkins now after bringing him in. Now, it's not necessarily a bad thing. He could do very well. But I can't get to that 3 premium structure, like you said. I tend to kind of lean towards a Saka still for a Son and do a Bruno down to maybe an Eze eventually. And I think at some point I'll also have to upgrade Diogo Jota because his minutes are going to be a risk going forward. Especially with Chiesa coming in, you know, eventually he is going to be rotated. For who, I don't know. But who would I look to be bringing in for 8.5 in midfield? Again, I don't know. It's tough. So I think that's where the wildcard could come in nicely for me. Again, I just realised I am priced out of Saka, so I will have to bring in a wildcard to accommodate 3 Arsenal assets going forward. But yeah, I don't mind my team at all. Stat Rodgers or Wood? I'd go Rodgers. Mbuemo, yeah. Mbuemo is a shout going forward. Stug says, hi Chai, Palmer or Saka captain? No Haaland or Salah. I would go Palmer. You've got balls of steel though, I have to say. Is Digne an option, says Anish? I don't think so. Aram, if you have a feeling Palmer gets a hat-trick, then it's a no-brainer who to captain. Fam says, take a hit for Solanke, who to bring in? If not, then Winks on the bench, I can get Watkins. I wouldn't take a hit to get Watkins, I don't think. Any early team news? Let's have a look. Let's have a little scroll on Twitter. Andy Martin's locked in. Of course, doing amazing. 606k in the world. Salah captain. He's a bit similar to me. Of course, he's the triple Arsenal assets. Don't know how long that's going to last with the difficult fixtures coming up, but let's see. Gianni Bottici is also locked in. A -4 for Watkins. Interesting. It's actually fairly similar to me. Son, Rodgers, Watkins. Lads, 8.9 for a striker is very, very awkward. Pras and Gianni. Pras, the absolute GOAT, by the way. What a legend. What to do with Henderson? Whole fate. He's Leicester next week. You just have to pray. Again, it's not ideal, but... Stug says, thank you, sir. No worries. Is it worth dropping in Mbuemo to get Pedro and another 5.5 midfielder? I would say no, unless you're on wildcard. You know, I think wildcard, yeah, that looks good, but otherwise, no. Raheem Sterling to Arsenal, by the way. I actually think it's quite a good move. Watkins, Saka, or Salah captain. Okay. Let's do... that's hard to do. I was going to say let's do a poll where we rank our captains. But it's hard because you can only click one. So what could I do? Alright. Put in chat. How would you rate the captaincy this week? Top 3. Between Saka, Salah, all of the players. Palmer, Haaland, of course. 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to go first. I'm going to say... I don't know why. I feel like Saka could be the best asset this week. I don't know why I clicked enter there. Haaland, of course. And maybe Palmer. Palmer's moving up the list for me. Put the format like that. Put it in one text though. Yeah. Why is everyone picking Henderson over someone like Raya? I'm fairly new to this. Okay, so if you're new to FPL, how do I even explain this? So basically, I'm not going to be honest, like this is also my thought process. I was absolutely clueless at the start of the season on a keeper, and I actually made a post on Twitter. Let me try to find it while we're there. And I literally made a post saying, you know, I don't know if you're also clueless, but who are we going to pick on goal? And I just went with the asset that was going to play for 4.5 million. Basically, you know, your keeper, you don't want to spend too much on your keeper. But it's different a bit this season because, how do I say it? You know, you can allocate funds better in different positions. That's why you don't want to put too much on your goalkeeper spot. But this season, Raya done phenomenally well so far. Now that could change. Henderson could somehow come up with a 12-pointer this week against Chelsea. I don't see it. And then he has Leicester at home next week, so there mightn't be a difference come game week 3, but let's see. Let's say come game week 3, after game week 3, sorry. Yeah, definitely Henderson not ideal. If you're on wildcard, Ray is the best option. So Harry says Watson. Harry says Watson. Harry says that Saka is the best. Killer Frog says Salah's number 1. Haaland number 3. I want to see more Haaland number 1s to make sure the chat is not delusional like myself. Haaland. Artava says Haaland, Palmer, Saka, Salah. Yeah, that's a good list. I think I would have something similar to that if I was going off like data. Palmer, Fleck and Haaland. Yeah, maybe so. Or Brentford can keep a clean sheet versus Southampton. Start Wood or Jota? I would do Jota for sure. Let's bring back up the team. Again, I would have loved to play Joe Pedro this week and roll in the transfer. I just don't think it's realistic. It doesn't really make sense when I have the money in the bank, especially. It's a good opportunity to jump on Watkins as well, where a lot of people are getting rid of him. And also, not a lot of people that have him. Like, what is his percentage ownership? Let's have a look. 29%. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people would have started the season with Watkins. That fixture run is just beautiful, though. Like, in these 6 fixtures here, he could easily return in, I want to say, at least 4 of them. He could be a long-term hold, but again, I could wildcard him out in 6. Oh, 6 he plays Ipswich. That's going to be tough. Hey, Choi. You should show clean sheet odds and points predictions. Adam, I don't have the graphic on me now. Actually, maybe I do. Let me do a quick search. Give me 2 seconds. I'll look for this image. I don't know if I have it saved. I do. You're in luck. Okay. Let's have a look at this. This is a very good graphic from Rob T. I think it's always good to kind of take things into perspective on how maybe the markets kind of project things. Let me mess up his graphic by squeezing it in. There you go. I think we want just the numbers. Okay. Have a look at this graphic, right? I won't be the biggest stats guy, but I know they exist and I know they're important. Of course, the standard this week's is an Arsenal at home and a City away to West Ham. I think it's interesting looking at the clean sheet odds. Brighton have been very, very strong, but yet Arsenal have a 42% chance of a clean sheet. Like, that's ridiculous. That's just how almost fixture proof the Arsenal assets are. So if I think I own the Arsenal boys after having the first 2 clean sheets, you know, you'd be delighted going into this game week with that Brighton fixture. What I would say is, I wouldn't say Arsenal were lucky to keep a clean sheet. You know, the keeper had to make the save, and Watkins had to be a bit poor. But I would say you're definitely a small bit fortunate to get that clean sheet last week. And I wouldn't personally be expecting one this week. I know that's not how it works. But I mean, the way I mean by that is, like, you know, Brighton are quite good and they could easily catch Arsenal on the break. You know, it's going to be minor things, and Brighton are catching a lot of teams on the break. That's their kind of the way they're playing. Minta, Adingra, João Pedro, rapid players on the counter attack. So it's going to be interesting how that game plays out for sure. Choi, who do I bench out of Bailey, Rodgers, Muniz, and Eze? I would say I would be benching Bailey. No, I would be benching... Oh, no, man, that's so difficult. How do you get yourselves in these positions? I probably would bench Eze. Again, every time I feel like I'm changing my answer when the same question's been asked me. It's because it's such a difficult decision. And I ain't got the answers. It's only educated guesses, I suppose. But yeah. What else stands out to me? Me and Fran went through this graphic earlier yesterday. I think that Brentford fixture is very, very nice. I love that. And I think it's also interesting that Liverpool are projected to do quite well against United. You know, as a Jota and a Salah captainer, I'm hopeful of them to do well. But yeah, it's definitely interesting to see clean sheet graphics. I would have thought Villa's clean sheet odds would have been a bit better than 34%, you know, lesser away. But other than that, nothing else really stands out. How do I close that image? Yes, there you go. So yeah, I brought in Watkins and Rogers this week. Again, happy with the moves. I know I keep saying it. 300 people in here. Appreciate every single one of you. Be sure to hit that like button. It really gets us out there. You locked in on Salah captain? I think so. Nearly 100%. I would say 99.999%. Choose two from this week. Rogers, Madueke, Smith Rowe. I don't know if Madueke is going to play. I think it's a small bit riskier. I would just play Rogers and Smith Rowe for me. Sharif, good to see you. HI, bench one. Wood, Rogers, Eze, Smith Rowe. Who would you bench, Porro or Johnson? I'd bench Johnson. I don't even know if he's going to play. I think it's likely he plays. But Kulusevski, I think, will definitely play. Again, same question. Who would the bench out of those four? I want to say Smith Rowe. Praneeth says, when will your secret AI transfers start pulling off? I'm waiting so far. I'm seeing humanish transfers from you. Nah, don't worry. Look, at the start of last season, I always start game week 1-2 quite slow. And then I kind of start losing my mind and doing things a bit different. You'll see. There's plenty more game weeks to go. I suppose when you look at my team in general, it is a bit more differential than your usual Haaland team. So we'll see. I suppose it's easy to say when you have a rough start that, you know, you're not very out there. But I have the likes of a Son instead of a Saka. And, you know, he had a brace last week. So let's see what he can do this week. Harry Miller says, Choi, my guy, got a real dilemma. And you've got the same dilemma as everyone else in chat. Eze, Smith Rowe, Rogers and Wood. I would bench Smith Rowe. I don't know why, lads. I don't know why. Smith Rowe or Eze? I would bench Smith Rowe, I think. Serdar says, please tell me who you changed for this tour. 1 million Rogers, Smith Rowe and Kunku. Or Rogers and Eze. It's the same stuff, lads, and it's too hard to answer, lads. Palmer or Salah captain? I would go Palmer. Alright, let's see. I want to do another poll, but let's do a more common type poll. Let's see how many are in here. We have got 315 people in here. Welcome anyone that's just joining us. If you can hit that like button, let's see if we can get up to 200 likes. Much appreciated. Let's do a poll. And it's not going to be FPL related. It's fairly simple. Do you eat breakfast in the morning? It's a very controversial one. I know people are either team breakfast or not. It's never sometimes I have breakfast, sometimes I don't. It's yes or no. Be interesting to see what the results are on this very FPL related poll. But I'll answer some of your questions while you answer that. And I think the poll will probably be about 50-50. Is Madueke a decent option if you can't afford Palmer? No. There's no player in the game that can cover Palmer in that Chelsea team. Does Maatsen start? I want to say no. If you say no, I don't trust you. I have breakfast usually around, I want to say 11 to 12. I don't know if that counts. Weetabix with honey and blueberries. Yeah, solid. I'm more of a 6 omelette or 6 scrambled eggs type guy with a few bits of toast. Sometimes says Ben. Yeah, what do you have if you do? Another super chat from Paul Krashitsa. Very cool second name. Morning, bring in Trent and Flecken or Rhea and Robertson. If I was on Wildcard, I would lean towards Rhea and Robertson, only to set you up a bit better. Tony Fungus says, I eat 10 eggs and 6 hash browns every morning. You fat bastard. No, but hash browns are absolutely good, no doubt. Alright, let me bring back up Twitter. We've 20 minutes until the deadline. Be sure to get your teams locked in. Let's have a look back on my post. See if we're having any interesting questions. Bench one from Rogers, Muniz, Eze. Thanks for advice, appreciate it. Lime Mouse, Ari. What to do? Let's see how that poll is getting on. 63% yes, breakfast. Man, I don't know if breakfast is the one. You know, I don't mind starving for a small bit and then eating something bigger in later in the evening. FPL Pickle is locked in. What's your team? Very solid team. You can tell there's a lot of talk going into this. Pedro Porro on the bench. I understand with that back three though. FPL family's locked in. Palmer captain. I love it if I had him. Nathan Bacon. It's always interesting to see what other people are doing. Nosy out. FPL Olympian. Haaland captain. Boring. Z. Anyway, it doesn't look like we're getting any updates before the deadline. If you see anything at me, and whether that's early Arsenal news or whatever it is, be sure to at me. Hi, Sean. I'm struggling with my team. Man, it's tough. It's tough. I'm just trying to make the chat bigger. Sorry, apologies. Is Johnson starting? Do you mean Ben Johnson? If it's Ben Johnson, I think yeah. Brennan Johnson, I think it's likely going to be a similar team that we saw last week. If I were to guess, it's going to be Vicario, Pedro Porro, Romero, Van de Ven, Udogie, midfield of Bissouma. I want to say Bentancur. I wouldn't be surprised to see Pat Matasardo to cover a lot of the ground in St. James's Park. Madison again, he was quite good. Johnson on the right. Ooh, actually, he's going to start Kulusevski. I don't know if we're going to see Brennan Johnson. I think it will probably be Kulusevski. Son up top. Wilson Underberg on the left. I thought he was phenomenal. Thanks, bro. Great to see you as well. No worries. Show your team. I just joined. Yeah, here's the team. For anyone that's just joined. Thoughts on Udogie. I missed the Spurs game. Udogie or Munoz this week. Udogie in that first week was one of the worst individual performances I've seen in a while. In that first week against Leicester. Second week, he was quite good. I have to say, he was much better. Thoughts on Mbeumo captain over Haaland. If I had Haaland, I think I'd go Haaland. You know, Mbeumo in himself is a big differential. But I don't mind it at all. If you're a bit of a risk taker and you have no worries stomaching watching that West Ham fixture behind the couch, go for it. Solanke to Watkins for -4 and replace Bruno. Essential move, no. Dylan Kennedy says, morning, I have 2 free transfers. What are your thoughts on Jota and Isaac out for Palmer plus Pedro? Brought in last night to catch the rises. Ooh, I don't mind it. It's okay. I don't know how you're able to afford that. But yeah, they're very, very solid moves. The 2 you had in place though were good, but I think it sets you up well for the future, for sure. Farouk says, is Son a viable captain this week? Look, inside of me wants to say yes, for all the reasons I've already mentioned. With the likes of, I don't know, Newcastle not looking great and Spurs looking quite good, and him potentially playing number 9. Why not? Why not? Alright, what is that poll? It is 60% breakfast. Yeah, it's interesting. Again, you're either breakfast or not, no breakfast. Appreciate everyone that has voted on that. I know it's very FPL related. Again, let's do another scroll on the timeline to see if we get any further information. Where are we? This year is 2037 and Dom Solanke still hasn't dropped in price. Love that. Yeah, I don't know how he hasn't dropped in price, to be honest. I was almost kind of waiting as well. Even though I own him. Wouldn't do Son to Palmer either. I agree. Son to Palmer isn't worth it for me this week. Rodgers or Gordon? If I had Gordon, I'd start Gordon. Rodgers, I would bring in if I had Nkunku. Bench 1 Rodgers, Jota, Trent, Eze. I would bench Eze, I think. I think I would bench Eze, yeah. JP Lloyd, good to see you. I want Watkins, but need to sell Bruno. I have 7.9 in the bank. Who should I be looking at? 7.9 for a midfielder. Eze. I think I still bring in Eze this week. Willie extends. Is that Big Willie Bolly or someone else? Rodgers or Gordon? Rodgers. Can't afford Watkins. Ooh, is the answer? No, yeah, I stick with Rogers. Can't afford Watkins. Who's in for Solanke? João Pedro, but not this week. I'll probably just wait otherwise. Solanke to Nicholas Jackson again. Don't love it. Try advice on purpose to gain an advantage. I would say, it's a long season, man. You can't be taking a risk every week. That's why, for example, you haven't seen me do anything outrageous yet. But I think the likes of making variants that maybe isn't the best play. For example, if we have, let's just say Son is playing Leicester at home, okay? And Haaland is playing maybe Brentford away. Haaland is the more likely captain there. But is there a chance to gain some variance by going with the likes of a Son? Potentially. And that is what will separate you from the pack. It won't always work out, but, they're the type of risks you have to make. For me, last season, I captained Trent twice last season. And, doing that on a weekly basis is not ideal. But, when you're playing it over the likes of 38 weeks, 2 weeks is not going to kill you if you go a bit different with your captain. And I also, last season, I finished 1,839 in the world. And I captained Trent twice. I captained Bowen twice. I captained Bruno 3 times. Salah 12 times, I want to say. Captain Isaac once. Captaincy was all over the place. So you can definitely do a mix-up of assets. You don't need to be so template all the time. That's what I would say to do. And if you've really got a feeling on a player, one thing I like to do is I like to go down to the fixtures and try, not predict, but see how I feel the games are going to go. And by that, pick my captain. Mightn't be the best EV move or analytic move on paper. But again, these matches are all in isolation. None of these have any kind of relation to what's going to happen next week. So I kind of take them on a weekly basis. Who's the best captain this week, regardless of what they done last week or what they will do next week. And I take it like that. Again, everyone's different though. Everyone picks their players in different ways. Matthew says, any team news? It doesn't look like we've got anything yet. Again, we might get something for the Arsenal one, but I don't think it will be significant. Adam Sousa says, makes me nervous. Yeah. It's always hard to captain someone against Haaland, but every week Haaland is not the best captaincy option, even if he is on paper, if that makes any sense. You're going to stay with a certain herd of managers as well, if you constantly captain Haaland every week. Because, you if he blanks, you're going to be with all the Haaland captainers that blanked. And yeah, so it's going to be cool, or not cool, but it's going to be interesting this week with the likes of Haaland versus Salah captainers. We've seen over the last 3 weeks how it's played out so far, and they're both on equal points. This week it can separate the owners, so let's see if it's going to be Team Haaland or Team Salah. I think in an ideal world they both blank and the likes of Mbuemo captainers win. I'd be happy for you. Morning choice says Mark Parker. What's happening, buddy? Not much. Great to see you in chat, Mark. Is this the line for Oasis tickets, says Andrew? Unfortunately not. We've got absolutely none in here. Unfortunately. Lots also captain Palmer. Yeah, that's a good shout. I hope Palmer blanks, actually. He's a big one I need to blank. Great channel choice, says Luke Bellamy. He says, would you do Saka to Palmer for -4? No. No chance. By the way, sorry I can't get back to every single question. I know a lot of you are consistently asking, but it's very hard to get back to all of you. And if I don't answer your question, it's probably because it's already been asked. So, apologies. But I'll try get back to as many as possible, of course. By the way, is there any content you'd like to see from me this season? When I finish up from my day job and I'm going back to uni, I'll be able to allocate more time to making content. I'm already consistently doing a deadline stream and team selection. Maybe you want to see a midweek stream with a guest, or maybe you want to see top 5, 10 differentials or top 10 tips, or a preview for the week. Just let me know. It can be done, and I'll try my best to try do as much as I can to make the content as enjoyable for you viewers as possible. What uni do you go to? I go to the Southeast Technology University of Waterford. Yeah. Big name, but it's not that special. Start Rogers or Emile Smith Rowe. I'd be starting Rogers. Bench Wood, Gordon or Rogers. Bench Wood, Gordon or Rogers. I would bench Gordon. British 87, good to see you, says Dylan and Oscar as the guest. Yeah, no, I can get Focal on here. Maybe Oscar would be happy enough to join on, to come on, I would say. What a legend, by the way, Oscar is. Top guy. He's the exact same as you'd expect him to be in real life. Like, he's so sound, man. But yeah, top dude. We could probably see him on here at some point. GW3 locked in, says Fran. 1.77 million in the world and Kunku to Rogers. Yeah, I done the exact same move. Fran was on yesterday, by the way. For anyone that hasn't seen, check out that stream. Let's see if we get any team news. I just want to see, I'd love to get the early lineup. It makes no difference, but I'd love like a shock start for like Jesus and Havertz bench or something to spice it up. Again, okay, this is gonna be another interesting poll. Again, it's fine if you're outside this range, but I want to know where you guys are in the world. So I'm gonna say, where are you? 1.5 and above, or 1.5 and below. That's a good marker. For me, I'm just slightly in the 1.5 and above. I mean, but again, if you're in the 3 millions, there's nothing wrong with it. It's only 2 game weeks. I wouldn't worry. Even if you're number 1 in the world, of course, delighted for you, but it doesn't really make much of a difference first 2 weeks. Maybe in game week 8 when it matters. That's when I start giving credit. Nah, I'm joking. But yeah, definitely it's about the long run, lads. And if you already use half your chips, of course it's gonna make a difference on where you are. Doesn't look like any team news, lads. Again, we'll keep refreshing. 6 minutes until the deadline. Do me a favour, make sure you click this refresh button. And if your team is not locked in, click save your team. A lot of people, you'd be surprised, forget about it. Derek O'Reilly in chat, good to see you. HI, does Sun start for Waterford in the hurling? Sorry if already asked. Come on, you Spurs. Does Sun start for Waterford in the hurling? I don't know who Son is, but I'm going to say yes. Why not Captain Son? Only because I feel like Salah could do quite well away at United. I think United are still a bit brittle. Oh, you mean rank? Yeah, I mean rank. Like, what rank are you? Are you 1.5 million under, or the poll is badly worded? Okay, let me reword. Sorry, apologies. Man, I suck. Hold on. Okay. Let's do a new poll. Apologies. Let's do... What's the goal? Rank. A lot of rank. Just to avoid confusion. Top. I done this last week, I think it was. But after, you have a poor week or so, your idea might change. I'm going to assume everyone wants to at least be in the top 100k. Miko says, start Eze. Bruno. I would start Bruno. Wissa as a captain, what do you think? No, only because he don't have penalties. If you're enjoying the stream, yeah, leave a like. Did we hit 200? We're on 178. Be much appreciated if you can. Top 10, and the best scenario is to be the winner. I agree, Ashwarya. 100% agree. The world is your oyster. There's no limit. Okay, let's see. Any team news? Focal has reposted something. It's his team. He's locked in. What are we saying, Oscar? Again, solid team. Eze and Bruno has been hard done by. Ben Johnson, Bruno, or Munoz? Bruno, 100%. Morgan Gibbs is captain. Opinion? Yeah, no, he's been very, very good in the last few weeks. I don't mind it. If you're on Wildcard 6, would you get a Man United defender for 4 and 5? I wouldn't say in particular I'd be targeting United, but why not? Does Mateta start over Jota? Have Salah in the XI? I'd be inclined to start Jota anyway. FPL Choi says... not FPL Choi. Ho says, are you planning on making any transfer? So if you don't know, 3 minutes until the deadline, I've already locked in my moves. I've done Rodgers in for Nkunku and Watkins in for Solanke. C says, morning Choi, good morning. Hope you're well. Captain Saka or Isaac? I would captain Saka. How is that poll getting on? 2 minutes into the deadline, I would be getting locked in if I were you. 46% say top 10k. I need you to be more ambitious, lads. Top 10k, it has to be the goal. Top 50k, of course, still a really good rank. Top 100k is solid as well, but at the start of the season, doesn't matter what rank you are now, I'd be shooting high. 186 likes so far, lads. 14 away. Any last team news, please? Give me something. Big Man Back Car is locked in. Okay, there it is. Very good. Why isn't this Trophy Mo is locked in as well? Emil Smith Rowe. Okay, doesn't look like he made a transfer. I think that's about it, lads. We're not going to get any early team news. Again, I'm going to stay here for 15 minutes, I want to say. We'll keep the chat refreshed, answering as many of your questions as possible. If you have any more questions about future deadlines or some of my plans or wider strategy, be sure to let me know. Luke says, 7,000 in the queue for Oasis tickets and it went back to the start. Absolutely gutted for you, man. That's the worst case scenario. 1 minute to the deadline. Make sure you're locked in. Stargio Pedro or Rodgers? 100%. That's not even a question. Now watch João Pedro do quite well. And I'll get no points off my bench. But I don't know. On paper, I think for sure you have to go Rodgers. Porro or Gabriel start? Gabriel all day. Yeah, hopefully you've no more questions about this game week. Looks like everyone is pretty much locked in. Again, I'm going to stay for Arsenal team news, I think. Let's see. Which will be at 11:15? 11:15? No, it won't be at 11:15. No, it will be. An hour 15 before. Top 50k would be one of my better seasons. Yeah, no, Con, it's tough out here, man. FPL is a tough game because there's a lot of luck involved, so I can understand. A lot of time spent to study, yeah. Who to bench, Eze, Rodgers, or Isaac? The deadline is gone. What would I have done? I would have started Rodgers and Isaac. I would have benched Eze. That's the best way to put it. If you're sticking in here, appreciate you, by the way. Feel free to fire in any questions. I want to answer. It doesn't have to be FPL related. It can be general. Ass or boobs? No, not that type of question. Where are we? Man, I love that Mbuemo pick this week. It could be lovely and it's spicy out. Porro or Foyce? Porro. Yeah, good luck everyone. Good luck. Says Helmer. Let's do some spying, will we? Why not? Who are we going to go to? Let's go to FPL Raptor. Let's see. Is he locked in? His team is indeed locked. Solid. See, why I check on Raptor is because he's a very similar team to me. And he's also no Haaland, so it makes sense. How's your CS degree going? And what are you currently learning or interested in learning? Says Praneeth. The degree is going well. Fourth year this year, so it'll be one of the tougher years, but I'm still looking forward to going back. What am I currently learning? So I kind of specialize in cloud computing. So I mean, I don't know how this year is going to look because I have my final year project, but I mean, I'm not worried about going back. I've been in the queue since the stream started, still haven't made it through to tickets. That is some dose, man. I feel bad for you. When will you transfer your keeper? I want to say Wildcard. Wildcard is when I'm likely gonna change my keeper. Henderson probably does have to go though, regardless of how good he does from now and then. Deadline over already? Yep, it sure is. 192 likes. Can we get 8 more people hit that button before you go? Choi, do you know Python? I do, but not very well. I'm trying my best. That's what I was doing in my my job. Or that's what I'm still doing, to be honest. Any team leaks? No, not yet. Con is locked in. Evan Nilsson in. I love that move. Deadline has passed. Ben Krellin's locked in. Haaland captain. Yeah. EV move. Interesting to see Gibbs White in though. I love that. Yeah, no Victor Osimhen for Chelsea as well. I feel like that's a massive L. They could have really done with an out and out number 9. Top 10k seems to be the goal for a majority. Interesting to see that top 100k has more votes than top 50k. That is crazy. Rogers or Nedeljkovic. Whom to start? Check out my team, Fancy Football Hub. Apologies, I can't pull up Fancy Football Hub because we are affiliated with Scout. Any ideas? Says Check Quickies. 2 free transfers next week. Couldn't get Watkins because Nkunku Pro Shop. Ooh. 2 free transfers, you can do a lot. I would try move on Nkunku maybe down to a 5 million or 5.5. Maybe a Minta for that Ipswich fixture. And then you can look at maybe upgrading someone else elsewhere. I just want team news, lads, and then we can all sail into the sun. I just want to know what Arsenal lined up with. Give it a refresh to see what's happening. Harry Miller says, I always love the stream. Very chilled way to start the Saturday with you on the TV in the background. Great advice too. Cheers, Harry. Appreciate it. Again, like I said, we're trying to make these better week by week. So if you have any advice, let me know. If you're someone that regularly tunes in, especially, you know what I do well, you know what I do bad, and I try to take everything on board. Yeah, no, I think this week, if I can have a good week this week, next week for me looks very good. Like if I pull up my own team, 180, okay. This is how I look this week. Okay, it's not updated. Let me do Rogers, of course, in. Rogers in and Watkins in. Like, I think I'm set up well for next week. And we've already survived the Haaland hat-trick entourage that was last week, of course. And that was one of the most difficult weeks I think we're going to have this season. Of course, going without Haaland in such a big fixture when a lot of people triple captain him, it's going to be tough. But looking at next week, okay? You have 3 home fixtures, Leicester and Forest, ones that you maybe hope for a return. Of course, that Porro fixture, not ideal. But you have Everton at home for Watkins, Wolves away for Isaac, and Ipswich at home for João Pedro, and Southampton away for Bruno. Like, that looks incredible on paper. What do I plan on doing with Rogers? I want to say make him the 8th attacker this week and start Sonny. What am I going to do with my transfer? I'm unsure. Like, I think going forward, I could easily do a Nedeljkovic for Johnson and bring in a Villa attacker in place of Porro. But again, I'm just like, I'm unsure how I feel about that, to be honest. I'd almost just chance Porro and hope. At home, it's an open game and you never know what you're going to see in the North London derby. But again, in general, like I said, 8 or 9 home fixtures for me next week. I think it looks very, very good. And there's points to be made this week. Who am I going to captain? Most likely Salah. Salah at home to Forest. I mean, I want to say it doesn't get much better like that than that. Out of the trenches, Mazan says probably Raya, Timber, Gabriel, White, Partey, Rice, Odegaard, Martinelli, Havertz and Saka. Yeah, something similar to that, I would can imagine. Harry says, you're smashing it. Love the fact you show us the Twitter feed and refresh it. Quite often we don't have to do that whilst watching. Yeah, I agree. I suppose it's good to kind of get some of my thoughts as well and react to it live. Are you a Liverpool fan, says Asil? No, I'm not. I just think Liverpool can do quite well with those fixtures. Game week 3, Raptors locked in, like I said. Let's actually have a look at his team. So he's got Rodgers, Salah, Jota, as well as I do. He's got Trent and Robinson and Henderson like I do. And of course Isaac. Yeah, I like Ross's team. Whose team is better set up for the future? You know, I'm actually inclined to say Ross. I think Eze next week with Leicester. And of course Gabriel and Saka already in place. You know, he doesn't need to wildcard. But again, I think I prefer my team in general. Only because it's my team. Chess Quickie says, I've any ideas for 2 free transfers with Watkins because in Nkunku price drop? Come back to me next week. I'll come back to you with an answer when I can see your team. Who would be a good jump from a Dogie for a 5 million defender? I have Manoz, Trent and Robinson. I would keep a Dogie if I have him for sure. Prass is locked in. Prass is... He's actually rolling the 3rd free transfer. This guy, man. Fair play. I'm not surprised. One of the best planners when it comes to FPL for sure. Surely we're going to get some team news. Surely. Brian Morrissey says, well, Choi, did I see you at the butcher's in Super Value yesterday afternoon? That's quite funny. So when I was in Super, like, okay, so yes, for anyone that doesn't know, Super Value is an Irish branded supermarket in Ireland. And you know, when I'm out and about, when you're walking around, you often make eye contact with certain people. And do you know when you look at someone and you're like, I feel like, you know, I get the impression you're looking at me as if you've seen me before. And of course, I don't think I've ever seen him before. But, you know, that eye contact, we literally just were like, and I carried on with my day. And I said to myself, like, I wonder, has he seen, like, FPL content before? Especially when you have someone kind of my age. But Brian, yeah, that was me. You probably saw Super Value yesterday. And I did get the impression that you might have seen some content. Good to see you. You should have said well. Don't be shy. I'm a very you know, I'll sit there and have a chat about you with FPL if you're into that. But yeah, next time you should definitely come say well. Praneeth says, I'm jealous of Prass's team. He thinks way ahead for everyone. And he's so bullish on his players. I'd be doing 10 transfers and he'd be rolling. Yeah, for sure. No, like when we talk about some of the best managers in FPL, Prass is up there easily for me, 100%. It's just the way his kind of outlook on, you know, the strategy more so, you know, everything. It's just, you know, he kind of plans in advance and sets himself up very well for future moves. So yeah, definitely an amazing manager. Well, yeah, deadly to see you in here, Brian. I wonder, did you see my stream before, or you just know about the content? It's mad. 177 people in here. I appreciate every single one of you. Like I always say, but we're gonna leave it when we get the Arsenal team news. We're gonna see the Arsenal team news, give you my thoughts, maybe some of the scores or what I'm gonna predict for that game, and then you'll be free. Ditch Henham says, where are you from and your last season's rank? So my last season's rank was 1,839th in the world. For 30 game weeks, it was so annoying. But we were in the top 100-ish. And then we finished the season outside the top 1,000. We were also number 2 in the world in game week 22. It was an amazing season and the most enjoyment I've ever got from an FPL season, to be fair. I also have a rank of 4,329, I want to say, in 2021. So yeah, not bad ranks for sure. And this season, of course, we're going to top it off with another top 10k. Nah, let's see. It's going to be a tough season, you know. I feel like the game is getting harder with the amount of content creators. You know, a lot of football Twitter is getting involved, like Janti. What's his name? Speed has a team now. Salah has a team. Haaland and is being vocal about people triple captain him. So there's definitely a lot more competition, I want to say, nowadays, you know, active managers. So the game is getting more difficult by the weeks. But it's okay because I'm not going to change anything. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. And we'll eventually get there. So we smashed the 200 likes. Thank you so much, lads. Like, it really does get us out there for anyone that's like a regular. I know last year some of the views nearly went through 500 because we were doing so well rank wise. And hopefully we can keep it up this season. I'm very, very happy with the start, I have to say. Like, usually I start a bit slower. I was 6.2 million in the world this time last season, so things can change quickly. I know I keep saying it. By the way, Black Ops 6 came out. I was playing it last night, and I'm going to continue to play it. Very decent beta, I want to say. 2 minutes until we get Arsenal team news. I hope I'm right about that. It is an hour and 15. I wonder, has the app refreshed for my next week's team? The app has been very, very good, I have to say. Usually it's very slow. Nah, not updated yet. Did team news come? Says Harshan. No, not yet. Praneeth says, do you also play fantasies like UCL, Serie A, Liga? I think official Liga is a bit complicated. Yeah, no, I find it hard to do more than one game. I can't allocate the time to it. What rank did you end last season? 1,839. Is Ugarte a good player? You know, that's an interesting question. Why? Oh, someone's ringing my phone. 2 seconds. Apologies. We should be back now. Okay, yeah, we're back. Let me focus that. Yeah, when someone rings my phone, essentially it turns off my webcam. Yeah, so is Ugarte a good player? I want to say he's a decent player. It's a good sign for United. United really needed a 6. Is he a good player? Yes. I don't think he's as good as he's been hyped to by United fans. Again, of course they're always going to hype a new sign him, but I don't know, man. Like, he wasn't great for PSG. I know for Sporting he was quite good. But yeah, it's going to be interesting. He's definitely going to make him a better team. Yeah, I actually wonder, will Ugarte play this week? It's going to be interesting. Okay, let's see if we got the Arsenal team news. Arsenal. Nothing as of yet. Because I'm a Man United fan, is he a FPL player that I should have? No chance. As an FPL asset, I'll be staying clear, 100%. Can't really be bringing in DMs unless you suddenly think he's going to start getting goals. I don't think so. By the way, I'm loving doing the content on YouTube, whether that is a stream or videos. Like, I actually I'm starting to find it more enjoyable. At the start, last season, you know, I found it more difficult because I was so unfamiliar with like all the softwares and how to actually record, sitting in front of the camera. It can be a bit awkward at the start, but now I'm kind of like used to it, and it kind of just comes natural at this point. It's really weird. Like, at the start, I really had to think about some of the things I was going to say. You know, I was worried about having to reply with the right answer all the time, but it's not the case. Like, you kind of just do it off the dome, so it's quite good. And of course, we get lots of people that are very supportive. Of course, there's still 160 in here in chat, but like, it doesn't go unnoticed. Like, I kind of want to make the content as good as possible for the people that are always in here on a weekly basis, and try to encourage people to stay in here. Like, it always baffles me that you're in here regardless of all the other content creators. You know, that was my quick sob. Again, it doesn't look like we've got team news just yet. I don't know why, because usually it's quarter past. Maybe I'm wrong about that though. Let me look at their official page again. There you go. There it is. Rio White, Saliba, Gabriel, Timber, Partey, Royce, Odegaard, Saka, Trossard, Havertz. Martinelli missing out. That's the only probably surprise. I think Trossard has been that good though, you know. And I don't know how he's being benched on a weekly basis. He's amazing. Ethan says, I missed out on your by 0.2 while following your team. Will that impact me in the future? I want to say yes. But like, there will always be alternatives to my team. And Ethan, I wouldn't be copying my team anyway. Like I said, you know, I could easily, I wouldn't say easily, but I'm not always going to do so well every single week or every season. Last season was definitely an outlier in terms of, you're not going to see me number 2 in the world this season. I mean, of course I hope so, but it's unlikely. Will Konate start because he's a great alternative to Trent and Virgil? I want to say yes. He's their second best defender. Trent and Van Dijk, okay. Second best centre half. So yeah, you're likely going to see him start. Is he an alternative? I wouldn't be going there. I don't think so. I prefer Robertson for maybe some attacking threat. Okay, so there's the Arsenal team. Again, I appreciate every single one of you that are in here. Check out a Sunday stream on Fantasy Football Scout Sunday where me and Gianni will review the game week. And also, before you leave, hit that like button, and I will see you in the next video. I appreciate every single one of you. I know I keep saying it, but I love you all.